All right, Charlie, it's a special night here on Sowing the Bourbon. We've got a wonderful old dusty decanter. Why don't you tell them what we have?
Tonight is a super special night. We've got a 6-year bottled and bond Stitzel Weller from 1971. Buckle up, Buttercup.
Okay, Charlie, I've got a bottle of Old Fitzgerald Bottled and Bond Old Ironsides.
That's the name of the decanter.
That's the name of the decanter, yes. So this was actually distilled in 1965, bottled in 1971. What do you think about that?
At Stitzel Weller Distillery.
At Stitzel Weller.
It's kind of a big deal if you're into bourbon. Glenn, tell us how you came about this beautiful decanter.
Well, it's a cool story. So I'm in real estate, and every now and then in real estate you come across homes that either someone has passed on, it's an estate situation. Every now and then I run across something like this, maybe not exactly like this, but
it's usually
older, dusty decanters.
They're usually empty beam decanters that people are like, those are worth thousands.
Right. But anyway, I was helping out another realtor with some video production, shot a video for her, and this happened to be at the house. I was like, oh, what is this we have here?
Hello.
And we got talking about it, and she's like, oh, here, try it. And I was like, no, that's all right.
No.
So she insisted. So I will say I have tasted this, just a little taste, because she insisted.
And now we have it. Now it's here.
Yeah, so this was payment for my work for her.
That's amazing. Now, we, not to sound like those guys, but one of the things in bourbon is there is a culture, subculture of the dusty aficionados, right? The people, bourbon is better, bourbon's terrible now, it used to be great. We have some experience in the world of dusties.
Yes,
we have episodes with the Old Crow Chessman. We have episodes with the Old Grandad 114 from National Distillers.
Yes.
And now we're into our Stitzel Weller era.
And a couple Beam episodes.
And a couple of Beams episode, of course. So if you're interested and intrigued by the dusty bourbons, we get pretty in depth. Go back and watch those. We encourage you to do so.
Check out the Heaven Hill 6-year that we opened with.
No, 10-year. Heaven Hill 10-year pre-fire that we did too.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, and then the one you did with Bruzel. So we're dusty and all over the place. I feel like we've talked enough about this.
Let's get going.
So we've got some cork
get
in
into
this, right?
We'll talk more about this as we're pouring and filtering. And
may I touch your Old Ironsides?
You go right ahead. Be very careful because that.
Oh gosh.
Oh, don't do that. No, what I'm saying is
it's gonna come off. Yeah.
Let's try.
Okay, you do it.
Oh, you want me to be responsible for it? Okay.
Oh, baby.
Come on, baby. Come on. I'm willing it. I'm willing it.
And this is, yes. And if you go back and watch our episodes, you know that it is very,
So, just a note here, this bottle has been opened.
Correct.
There is some cork in it already, so we're going to filter it as we pour it into the glass.
And one of the things, we're smelling the cork. That is not a pretentious thing. It is a little bit. But you want to make sure it smells like bourbon because it's got to pass the look and the smell test. This is not hazy. We'll post some pictures that Glenn took. It doesn't have much haze to it, if any. It looks very clear, very nice, and it smells like bourbon should smell.
Yeah, I was shocked actually when I saw that this bottle was open. I have no idea how long it's been open, but it's not hazy at all. And
here we go.
You'll see that here in a second. I get so nervous.
That'll be great right there. Good. And then if you would like to, no, just grab the other glass and we're going to swap. 1, 2, 3. I've got this one. I'll drink that one. I've got this one. Very sophisticated, very demure. The things we do for old bourbon. While you're watching us, and that'd be great right there, good. Make sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube to get more hard-hitting bourbon filtering videos like this.
Well, we've got to let the people see what kind of work goes into this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you think that you're going to get an old, 1970s, 60s...
You want a paper towel?
Yeah, if you want to grab one, that way we're not leaking all over everywhere. If you think you're just going to grab a 1960s or 70s decanter and just pop that cork right open, I don't want to say it never happens, but it rarely happens. Usually that cork is going to disintegrate, and if you watch our episodes, you'll see that happen in real time. So... here goes nothing.
Here goes nothing. Man, that's...
great color.
There's no haze at all to this.
No haze. It is a beautiful amber color. Copper amber. Very oily. Puts a nice ring around the glass.
Yeah, it rings it and just
And it just sits there. It does not want to run down. I mean, it is gorgeous. Shall we nose?
Yes, we shall.
So, Old Fitzgerald, weeded mash bill, right? Glenn, tell them what the mash bill is.
So, from what I understand from researching on the internet, and I have no idea if this is 100% correct or not, but from what I understand, the mash bill at the time that this was produced was either... yes, it was 70% corn, 18% wheat, 12% barley.
And that checks out because Old Fitzgerald was a weeded bourbon.
Yes.
That's what it was.
So the current mash bill of Old Fitz is 75-25. Yep. So they ramped up the corn,
cranked down,
pulled back on the barley.
A little more wheat.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the nose. Sweet caramel on the nose. There is that dusty funk that you get out of. It's hard to explain once you kind of nose it and you smell it. You're like, yep, that's dusty funk.
And cinnamon.
I'm with you on the cinnamon. There is definitely a sweet spice that you get there.
And it's tickling my nostrils.
It is 100 proof. I'm very.
By the way, so we'll talk about it later.
No, we're drinking.
We'll talk about
Cheers.
Cheers.
Old Fitzgerald. Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
That's
phenomenal.
First of all, it's a spice bomb right up front.
Boom. As soon as keep going. Keep going.
It kind of explodes right on your tongue.
Oh my gosh.
And then as it dissipates, there's almost like a, gosh, is it caramel? It's like a really sticky, like almost syrupy sweetness on the back end.
The mouthfeel is ridiculous. Big, bold spice right from the moment that it hits your palate. And you get this big blast on my first drink. I didn't get it as much on my second. First drink was just chocolate fruit. It was sweet fruit. My mouth is salivating. I can feel the spice like in my lips. And the finish can only be described as deep, dark, oaky tobacco.
Yes.
Like it is an intense
There's some kind of baking spice in there that if I were a little bit more trained,
if we were
I'm sure I would be able to pinpoint it. But it's very familiar, and I can't quite figure out what it is yet. I'm gonna go back in. You talk.
Almost like a nutmeg.
Yeah.
It is a great bottle. The thing with bottles like this is you're always wondering, are you going to get the full experience? Because it's a gamble when you're talking about something from 1971 that was distilled in 1965 that has sat in someone's cabinet in Southern Indiana, open for God knows how many years. What is it going to taste like? Is it going to live up to it? Because we could have tasted this and this, been like, yeah, it's gone. There's not much there. I don't think it's lost anything. If it's lost anything, I guess the reason that it was left is the person drank it and their head exploded because it was so good. This is so good, and it's so different from the offerings that we've had previously. And it has to be because of that wheated mash bill.
And I'm getting so much more vanilla now on the second taste. That spice, to me, I would just call this a spice bomb. And I hate, it's a vanilla bomb, it's a spice bomb, it's an oak bomb, but that's what this is. It's a spice bomb that's got a really nice, sweet, baking spice note to it that's just really, really good.
It has an intensity, especially on the finish, that for a 6-year-old bourbon, I was absolutely not expecting. I guess I don't know what I was expecting from this, because, it's a wheated mash bill and they use wheat because it's, you get a little sweeter. That's the whole point, right? Like Pappy and all that. Like we'll use wheat, we'll soften it up a little bit. There's nothing soft about this. It's incredibly flavorful, and the finish and the oak and the spice and just, it is an unbelievable. It is immediately in one of the top 5, if not higher, bourbons that I've ever drank. Incredible finish.
And it drinks, to me, higher than 100 proof, don't you think? Not as far as like...
Yes, not in the alcohol.
No, but just the intensity of
the intensity and the spiciness of it. It is really unusual to get that much spice flavor. This is not a rye, right?
No,
like
there's no rye in the mash bill.
To get that much spice on the front that just lingers through, it's a really remarkable bottle. Unbelievable. You should definitely pick one up.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute.
Let's talk about that.
So we mentioned before, this was distilled in 65, bottled in 71 to commemorate the USS Constitution, otherwise known as Old Ironsides, right?
And it even says, this is called the Old Ironsides Decanter.
Yeah, so a little bit about Old Ironsides.
Oh, history with Glenn.
So... the name was adopted after a battle in 1812, which it was just getting pummeled and pummeled and pummeled and wouldn't sink. So crewmen cheered, "Huzzah! Her sides are made of iron."
But they're not. It's a wood ship.
What does huzzah mean?
Huzzah! It's like hooray.
I don't know, but regardless of the story behind this bottle, it's a wonderful bottle. You're not going to find it anywhere unless you go on an auction site and pay $1,800.
Yikes.
Yeah, so in my research for this, I found one that was recently, I don't even know if it was recently sold. I couldn't find a date on it, but it sold at auction for $1,830 and some change. So this bottle was not open, right? Or this bottle was open, right?
Correct.
So it was basically worthless on the secondary market because you can't prove that what's in the bottle is in the bottle.
Yeah, and we can't either. And that's the other rub, because I'm beating you to it, right? I knew the first comment we were going to have is, what if that's not?
And it's, I'm 99.9% sure that this is what's in the bottle.
Yeah.
I know the circumstances that it came from. I know where it's been. You can taste it. Listen.
We're listening.
If you've had some Dusties, you know the difference, right?
This is not modern bourbon. It's not modern bourbon. And we understand. And sometimes you have to take things for, like you said, like, hey, we got the provenance. We know this is what it tastes like. This is what it smells like. The condition of the bottle, the condition of the tack strip, the way it was, the cork, all of that. The bottle has been sitting for a long time. Yes. So, yes, if you're watching and you were that guy who's like, you can't prove that that's what it is. Not that that's what you sound like, but it probably do. You're right.
Yeah, we don't know.
We 100%. Don't know, but we're 99.8%.
Yes, we are 99.8% sure that this bottle has been sitting since 1971.
Or at some point.
Which was
whenever it was
3 years before I was born.
Yikes, he's old. I really do. The more Dusties that I drink, the more Dusties that we drink, I do understand the attachment, the love, obsession that people have with saying, hey, bourbon was better, bourbon it was different. It was, because it is. Everything that we've had is different from modern bourbon. And whether you want to talk about, the corn and the grains that they use down to the water, and obviously the barrels that they used using really old, potentially 200 and 300 year old oak trees instead of 7-year-old oak trees. All of those things matter. But I do think there's still some really great bourbon being made today. It's just different from this.
It's just different. And you're drinking history. I mean, there's something about it. The nostalgia, right?
It's hard not to be romantic about bourbon.
This came off the still 59 years ago.
Yeah, in 1965. Yeah. When they were putting things in decanters, like that is the start of the bourbon glut, right? Like that's in the midst of counterculture when they're like, hey, we need to try to sell some of this stuff. What do we do? Put an Old Ironsides decanter. And I've actually seen a couple of these decanters. I love these decanters themselves.
I think the decanter itself usually goes for about $50.
Yeah, I saw one in an antique shop here locally in Southern Indiana, and I was really tempted. But if there's anything that I need or don't need, it's another empty bourbon bottle. So I let it sit and let somebody else snag it. But thank you for bringing this. This is a great snag, unbelievable bottle. We probably let you in behind the curtain here at So Into Bourbon. This is our first episode that we're filming tonight. Probably shouldn't have started with this.
Probably shouldn't have.
Because
we did.
I don't want to drink anything else. So we're going to figure out what to do from here. But in the meantime, Glenn, tell the nice people what to do.
Well, first of all.
Oh, nope.
I have a fun fact for you, Charlie. He's trying to wrap the show up, and I haven't even got to pull out my fun fact.
Pull it out.
Charlie, did you know there is a grove of trees in the state of Indiana?
Oh.
It's called Constitution Grove. It's located at the Crane Naval Facility in Bloomington, Indiana. Yes, there is a naval facility in Indiana.
In Bloomington?
The third largest in the world.
In Bloomington?
And there is a dedicated grove of white oak just to replace wood on Old Ironsides.
Of white oak, you say?
White oak. What's the connection here?
What do they make bourbon barrels out of?
Bringing it all back around.
It's hard not to be romantic about bourbon, and God bless America. And if you really want to laugh and you want to think U.S. Naval Base, look where Bloomington, Indiana is
check it
on
out.
the map.
Look it up.
Because there's nothing naval about it. But that is an awesome.
Google Constitution Grove. It's a cool story.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what would even be cooler?
If we could do an episode there, and they'd give us a tree, and we'd have something to make a barrel.
But wouldn't it be cool? And this will never happen because that grove is dedicated specifically to the upkeep of Old Ironsides. Yeah. But if some bourbon barrels were made from the white oak
that came off of,
yes.
What if it came off of Ironsides and they made it?
Well, then it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be new white oak, so it wouldn't be bourbon.
Okay, so you make it a double oak.
Whatever.
Old Ironsides oak.
Go with me here. You make barrels from the trees at Constitution Grove. You do another Old Ironside decanter. Come on.
I'm with you.
You raise money for Old Ironside.
Yes.
Oh my God, Charlie, we've got an idea. This is our idea.
It's our
patented,
patent pending, not to be used, trademark without the written consent of So Into Bourbon and
sponsored single barrel.
That's right. And we're contacting the U.S. government Navy and the Department of the Navy about making barrels out of Old Ironsides.
Maybe we should call Elon. He can pull some strings.
We're going to get some answers.
Doge.
Make America drunk again. It's going to be great. Tell the people what to do.
What you want to do is hit that like and subscribe button so that, you get notified when a new episode comes out.
Hard-hitting content.
Yeah. I've noticed, Charlie, that most of our views come from people who are not subscribers.
The 2,100 of you that are subscribing better get your view counts up because we're watching. Make sure to follow us on our socials. So Into Bourbon on Instagram, Facebook, and Whiskey Realtor on TikTok.
And as always, keep those wallets loose, especially if you want to buy one of these bad boys.
That's right. And your bunghole tight. Good night, everybody.
Peace out.
God bless America, USS Constitution, and the Navy.
Good job.
What happened? I blacked out. All right, ready?
Are you gonna be able to taste it?
Yeah, I can. It's all here. It's all just
Yeah. Okay.
nasally. Here we go. 3, 2. That's good. Did you like that, or do you want to do it again? I can then bring more energy. I can, I promise. You want to redo it?
Yeah.
You're not happy about it. I could tell you were unhappy. I'm going to give it what it deserves. Get ready for some. You ready for some overacting?
3, 2, 1.
All right, let's drink some old stuff.
Moondrops on my shoulder.
You know, I wore my t-shirt because I thought you would wear your polo.
Why do you not want to be matching? I almost texted you and said, hey, I'm wearing my t-shirt, so
It's a bit matchy.
make sure you wear yours.
Okay, well, here we are. While looking at your pocket. All right, phone's on silent-ish. Children upstairs on silent-ish. I am prepared.
All right.
My soul is prepared. Check, check. Check, check.
3, 2, 1.
Action.